Yesterday Bitcoin pumped all the way to the $58,000, so that's beautiful to see. But we also have to keep in mind that we are still in this huge downtrend for Bitcoin, so don't be fooled by this price action. There is also a huge CME gap open at the $52,858 and a lot of other patterns are still worth watching. I will discuss everything with you in this video. I will also have a look at the two altcoins Bittensor TAO and Chainlink, but about that later in the video. There's also a lot of interesting data and news coming into the market, so watch this video all the way to the end, like the video, and let's dive right into the charts. As I was saying, Bitcoin still has a very big CME gap open at the $52,858, so this is looking a little bit more bearish because eventually 99 out of 100 CME gaps are going to close again. And we could possibly see a lot of downside from here to close the gap. But of course there's also a minor chance that we're going to see that the CME gap remains open. And that is of course a bullish scenario if that's going to play out. But we have to keep in mind that this CME gap could get closed. So this could also cause a lot of downside for now. So let's see if the CME gap will be closed this week. And if so, we are coming back to the $53,000. And yesterday we saw a beautiful bounce from this lower side support region, and this horizontal level was holding strong enough, so this was a very interesting place to buy more Bitcoin, just like I did. And I've been warning you about it in my previous videos and on my socials. And now we are seeing a beautiful bounce back to the $58,000. But on the daily time frame we can see Bitcoin is still in this huge downtrend with lower highs and equal lows. So this means that the price is getting squeezed into an apex and eventually we will see a huge breakout. And if we want to see a big trend reversal for Bitcoin happening, we want to see a gain of this previous high to create a new higher high. And from there we want to see a higher low, and from there also again a higher high. And this would indicate a trend reversal for Bitcoin on the daily time frame. So before this happens, we are still in a downtrend and we always have to trade with the trend. So we're still in a downtrend, and let's see if Bitcoin can create a trend reversal and create more bullish price action in the coming weeks. And yesterday the Bitcoin ETFs had a positive day again after 8 days of consecutive outflows. We saw an inflow of 28 million, and that is very bullish to see of course. But we can also see that BlackRock was selling yesterday, and it was the third time since the start of the Bitcoin ETFs, and this was of course since the January 5th in 2024. So this was only the third time we saw a negative outflow of the Bitcoin ETFs of BlackRock. And we can see that Fidelity and the Bitwise Bitcoin ETF are buying, so that is beautiful to see. So eventually we are now seeing a bullish day. So let's see if the Bitcoin ETFs can create more buying pressure this week. And that of course will pump up the price of Bitcoin again. And if we have a look at the Ethereum ETFs, we can see a negative outflow again of more than $5 million. So that is a little bit more bearish to see. And of course Grayscale has been selling again. So that is nothing new. But for now we are still seeing a lot of negative numbers. So let's see if the Ethereum ETF can also turn things around. And eventually we want to see more buying pressure coming into the market for the Ethereum ETFs. And that of course will also pump up the price of Ethereum. And I'm always discussing this daily chart with multiple horizontal resistance and support areas. And yeah, we can see we bounced from this huge support on the daily time frame, and this was confluent with a lot of price action in the past. And we can see this beautiful bounce occurring around the $52,000. And now we are bouncing again back above this big first resistance. So this is a very interesting gain for Bitcoin. So we're now above this resistance, and we can paint this level green again. And we can also see a little bit of rejection coming into the market at this next big resistance. So let's see if we can retest this previous resistance as support now. And from there we can maybe create more topside and come back to this huge resistance on the higher side. So if we can also create a gain for this level, then we can continue the uptrend on the lower time frame. And eventually, as I was saying, we need to gain this previous high and create a higher high just to confirm the big trend reversal for Bitcoin on a daily time frame. And yesterday we had some very beautiful news coming in. Japan's largest electricity company, Tokyo Electric Power, is going to use renewable energy to mine Bitcoin. And this is of course beautiful to see. And a lot of the companies around the world are going to mine Bitcoin with a lot of renewable energy. So this is looking good. And also Binance had some very good news coming in yesterday. They are obtaining regulatory license in Indonesia. So this is beautiful to see. And more countries are going to be embracing Bitcoin and crypto in general. So eventually the whole world is going to be exposed to crypto and Bitcoin. And I also want to have a look at this chart. We can see on the daily time frame a huge formation is unfolding. We saw a lot of touch points on the downside as support, and last week we saw another big bounce from this level. And on the top side we are seeing resistances coming into the market. So eventually this price of Bitcoin is getting squeezed into this apex on the daily time frame. And this apex is due in the end of October. So we could break out in the coming weeks, and eventually I think Bitcoin will also always break out before the apex is getting there. So we could potentially see a earlier break, and this pattern is a bullish bias pattern because we're seeing sideways consolidation to the downside, and eventually I think we will see a break to the top side. So we have to wait for a daily candle close above this huge resistance area to confirm the breakout. Then we wait for a retest of this previous resistance to turn it into support, and from there we can aim for higher prices. And the top side of this formation will be confluent with the breakout target, and that will be around the $70,000. So this is going to be a very interesting breakout if this is going to happen for Bitcoin on the daily time frame. And also this weekly bull flag is going to be very interesting. We saw a huge run up from the bear market lows, and we saw a lot of consolidation for multiple weeks now. We are inside of this consolidation since the beginning of March, and last week we fell all the way to this huge support area on the downside, but we can now see that the support is holding once again. So let's see if Bitcoin can create more bullishness and eventually come back to this huge top side resistance of the bull flag. And of course we want to see a break of this bull flag, and then we can aim for exponential highs, because when this bull flag breaks out, with the breakout target of this bull flag will be $180,000 for Bitcoin. So that is an insane target, of course. And the first interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Bittensor TAO. I've been discussing Bittensor TAO a lot on my socials, and when we were at critical support I was telling you that I am going to buy more TAO at these places. So that is exactly what I did, and I was expecting that we are going to see a bounce from this level. And as we can see, we bounced from this huge support area, from this green box of support. So this is looking very bullish for TAO, and TAO is now showing some strength, so we could potentially come back to this huge resistance on the top side of this channel, and eventually we want to see a bullish break, of course. And from these stages where I was been buying, we are already up for almost 30%, so that's an insane gain. And I was warning you about this huge bounce for TAO, so congratulations if you also bought this dip. As I was saying, we need to see if TAO can come back to this huge resistance on the top side, and eventually we want to see a bullish break. And this is the level to gain for TAO, so let's see if we can break this huge horizontal resistance area in the coming weeks. And the next interesting altcoin I want to have a look is Chainlink. We can see that Link is in this falling channel with multiple touch points on the top side as resistance and multiple touch points on the downside as support. And currently we are back at the top side resistance, so let's see if Chainlink can see more bullish price action, create a bullish break, retest the previous resistance as support, and from there we want to see more top side. But then the first big resistance will be around this level, because in the past we can see a lot of price interactions here, and I think this will be the very big first resistance to gain for Chainlink. So let's see if Chainlink can first break out of this huge falling channel, and then we want to come back to this first big level, and that will be around the $12. So if we're going to see a break and then we're coming back to resistance, then we need to see another break of this level, and then we can create more exponential highs. And then the top side of this falling channel will be the breakout target, and that will be around the $18.50. So that is of course still a long road from here to make. So first we need to see a break of this falling channel, and then we want to see more gains for Chainlink. So let's see if we can first come back to this huge resistance on the top side and not fall back below this huge support area, because then we will go back to bear market lows. And let me know what you think about Chainlink and if you still hold Link in your portfolio. Please give a like if you find the video useful. Follow me on my socials, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.